Hey everybody, Joe Haygood here, aka mclazyj. We're back. It is Tuesday morning, and I thought I'd put together a little blog about what was my decision for going for a Virgin Voyages cruise specifically, but why we chose the cruise that we did. As a first-time cruiser, I'm sure a lot of you, when you first sit down, you're trying to figure out where the hell are we going. What's our decision for where we're going to go and what line we're going to use. So I thought I'd give you a little bit of what we decided and what our thought process was. So we went into this obviously January 2024. We were like, hey, we want to book a cruise. We knew it was going to be in 2025, but we figured we'd book it early to get a good deal. So I'll be honest, when we first booked it, we didn't know much of anything. We knew the main cruise lines that we knew of were Princess, Carnival, Royal Caribbean, NCL, it was Carnival, Royal Caribbean, NCL, Princess, Celebrity. We knew about those cruise lines. And our thought process was originally like, we're going to go out to LA because that's where all the ships go out of, right? Little did we know that is not the case. Most ships don't go out of LA. They actually go out of Miami or Port Canaveral or Fort Lauderdale. That's where most of the ships go out. We do have a lot of ships that do come out of LA, but it's just not the number that goes out of South Miami or out of South Florida or out of Florida in general. So when we sat down with it, so we started looking at all these cruise lines, and then I had remembered that Virgin was out there as well. Now we looked at Carnival, and we knew Carnival was kind of the price leader from a standpoint. It seemed like the best value for us. Royal, we liked. We liked a lot of the destinations, but we didn't think there was as much bang for the buck when it came to what was included and what wasn't included. So our decision at that point was, okay, what's going to give us the best value? And we kept looking at like Carnival as what we wanted to do. Until I kind of started looking at Virgin a little more, and I noticed like the dining was all included. Most of the cabins were balcony cabins, and they had like a free bar tab at the time. And I was like, well, that sounds really good. We're not huge drinkers, but hey, if we don't have to pay for alcohol and we're going to get it for free, why not? But the big selling point was it was a cruise where we weren't going to have any kids on board. Virgin's 18 over, no exceptions. So we were looking at basically being able to be on a cruise with people of a good age or better. Like, hey, you're not going to have any 5-year-olds running around, 6-year-olds. Not that that's a bad thing. It's just our choice was, hey, we have the ability to go on a cruise with a bunch of adults. Seems like the smart play. I will admit, Virgin is not the cheapest. They are much more expensive than a lot of the other cruise lines out there. But the tips are included. The meals are included. Basically what you're paying for on the ship from our standpoint. Oh, and soda is included. That's a big one. Like soda is included. Your only real extras are if you want to do any shore excursions or if you want to do any upcharges at dining. Like, hey, we want a big seafood tower or we want a tomahawk. Coffee, pressed juices, alcohol. However, once we made that choice, we were like, okay, where do we want to go? Again, it came down to we wanted to know how many places could we go in one cruise trip. Like a lot of people are big on like, hey, we want to do like the short booze cruise type thing. We want to go and pop, be on, be off, and just have that experience. But for us, it was more of how many destinations can we visit? For our, and we were trying to be like, hey, we didn't want to go to Mexico. Nothing against Mexico. It's just we'd been there and we didn't want to do it. We were trying to find places that we hadn't been and how many of them we could knock out. So as we kept going forward, we started noticing the Eastern Caribbean Antilles. That's the name of the cruise that we're going to be on. And it allowed us to go to the Dominican Republic. It allowed us to go to Puerto Rico, St. Croix, and then to Virgin's Beach Club, which is in the Bahamas on Bimini. And we're like, that's like 1, 2, 3, 4 places that we could go. And it, gives us some sea days in there as well to kind of relax, hang out at the pool, do whatever. And we were like, okay, let's do it. Booked it. They were like, hey, $300 bar tab. It's booked. Everything's great, right? Everything's right with the world. We did all this good stuff. Until I started, then I was like, okay, now that we've done this, let's watch some videos about Virgin Voyages. And I found some people. Specifically, I found one, Christine Lozada. Props for props are due. And she talked about having your travel agent be able to do this, that, this, that, this, that. And I was like, hey, maybe we made a mistake, what we did, what we paid for. So we called the travel agent. Or I got the information, emailed, we talked on the phone, we went back and forth. And basically, he was like, hey, cancel your cruise, call them up, because we had just booked it. So we had time. And because we were so early in, we wouldn't get a refund of our deposit. It would just become credit that we could reuse the book. And I explained to him, look, we're not canceling. We're just going to go through a travel agent to do it. And they're like, oh, no problem. If you do it early, no problem. You do it later on, you're going to lose your money. So they just said, hey, we're going to convert this to credit. I get back with the travel agent, let him know everything's good. And yes, this is Jason Carter with Seasend Vacations. I will put the email in the notes below. Full transparency, I do not get any money from him. I am not earning a commission from him. I do not have any advertising arrangements with him. I'm just letting you know that I got a great deal from him. And he's been really good to deal with. And he's been great to email me back when I've had questions. So I am forwarding his information and letting other people try him out and see what they think and try to get them a better deal. Again, I'm not making any money off of it. If someday he wants to give me a commission, if I turn enough people his way, hey, that's great. But for now, this is gratis. I ain't making anything. If you book with him, I'm not getting any kickback. But that being said, the man got us a great deal. Got our cruise for cheaper, a couple $100 cheaper than we were going to pay. Got us a little less bar tab, $250 bar tab, instead of the $300 we had. That was a little disappointing. But got us $600 worth of Sailor Loot. What's Sailor Loot? That's free money to use on board the ship. You can use it for shore excursions. You can use it for merch. You can use it for gambling. I assume you can use it for just about anything you can buy on the ship that costs money. I probably can use it for bingo cards. You can probably use it for a lot of that stuff. So it's like, it's great. We have this free money that we're going to be able to use for a bunch of stuff. And then, even better news, as we have been dealing and communicating, out of nowhere, travel agent kicked us another $100 at the Sailor Loot. I'm like, that's awesome. He didn't have to do any of that, but he did. So our whole idea is we wanted to find a cruise line that would give us the most for our money. We paid more for a Virgin cruise than if we would have used a Carnival or probably even a Royal or an NCL. But I don't have any of the ticky-tack fees that are coming with it. We want to dine at the, if I'm on Carnival or Royal or Princess or any of those, if I want to dine at like the steakhouse or if I want to dine at the Italian place or this place, those are extras. Those are extras that we're going to pay. And when you're on a long cruise, you're not going to want to go to the main dining room every night. So those were extra costs we were looking at. Hey, if we do like 3 meals, we're probably looking at like, another $200-$300. The drink package, we're looking at another, $500-$600 for a drink package. And so on and so on. And as you started to add up those nickel and dime costs, it's like Virgin's not much more expensive. And we were probably looking at like an ocean view with those as well to try to lower the cost. So we're like, hey, we're going to get a balcony. We're going to get the 8-night cruise that we want. It's going to take us to the places we're interested in going. And once you kind of add in and on Carnival and all those ones, when your price was quoted, it didn't have tips in it. That was an extra you had to add. So like this price had our tips, it had our meals, it had pretty much everything. Unless the only thing that I knew off the top of our head we were going to have to spend money for was coffee. And even then, our bar tab will cover coffee, right? So it's like, we've got basically, once we walked on that ship, in theory, we paid for everything. And that was why we went with them. That was our choice factor. That was the factor that made us book with Virgin Voyages. It was the fact that we felt for the money we were shelling out for this specific cruise, and believe me, if it would have been like a shorter cruise, and I can confirm this, we went with Carnival for our shorter cruise out here on the West Coast. Granted, we don't have a Virgin boat out here yet until early 2026, but our thought process with that, with the Carnival was it was the best bang for our buck. We were paying for 4 people to be in 2 cabins because that was my son and his girlfriend's graduation cruise gift that we were giving them. It was a gift. We're taking them on a cruise, and that one is a short cruise. And we originally booked 2 interior cabins. We were cheap. Now, we did do the upgrades for both of us to get the cove balconies because it was relatively cheap. It was like $300 to do the upgrade. But the point I'm getting at is that we did choose Carnival for that one because it was the best value. It did come in the cheapest. We looked at Royal and we looked at Princess and we looked at those other ones, and it was Carnival coming in best bang for the buck. For the free restaurants we would get, the idea that we would get a free bottle of wine if we bought a dinner the first night, because we did want to buy them a nice dinner one night while we were on the boat. It ended up being the best value for that short cruise. So that's the logic that we had as first-time cruisers. I hope this helps anybody out there that's interested in knowing why or how and why you choose a cruise line for your first ever cruise. Like, what line should you choose? Where should you go out of? And I guess I didn't really touch on that. Like I said, we went out of Miami because a lot of the cruises we wanted to do that would take us to interesting places were going out of Miami. We looked at the West Coast, and immediately it's like everything is Mexico, 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 Mexico. We knew we could do like, hey, you could do an Alaska cruise, but we got to go to Seattle. We thought about that. We thought about doing like a one-way up the coast, but then it's like, hey, we got to fly back. Granted, we're flying to Miami. And be warned, depending on when you schedule your trip, flights to Miami can be very expensive. Paying $1,200 for flights, for 2 tickets on a red eye. But it's during spring break. That's why the tickets are so expensive. Anyways, that was why we picked Miami too. It's just so many boats go out of there and so many places that we could go to that we hadn't been to that we were interested in going to. So again, I hope this helps. I want to say sincerely thank you for everybody that's been following the channel recently, everybody that's been giving thumbs up on the videos. It's so great. If you are enjoying the channel, if you have watched the videos and you like what you see, and please do that. Don't just blindly follow. Check out the content. Make sure it's something for you. I mostly do video game content, but I am branching out into travel content as well. So I hope you will take the time to watch those videos. And if you like them, give us a follow, follow, subscribe, hit the bell for notes when the new videos come up. TikTok, same thing. We're there as well. We put a bunch of the shorts we put on both YouTube and TikTok. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on basically social media everywhere as mclazyj. So until next time, have a great morning, afternoon, evening, and we'll see you. Bye.